So I basically wanted to make this video today talking about my top 4 favorite Nickelodeon cartoons, because when it comes to the cartoons that I'm about to talk about in this video, this is just me sharing my thoughts on them because I connected with them a lot growing up as a kid. So this isn't any sort of ranking system where I'm starting from 4 and working myself all the way to the very first one. I just love all of these shows equally. I mean, hey, there might be one that I prefer over the others, but at the same time, I still enjoy a lot of these series equally because they just meant so much to me growing up as a kid when it came to the shows or any kind of, special movies they had or video games or, merchandise, whatever the case may be. I mean, you probably can't see it right now, but normally my videos, if it's visible, you see like a SpongeBob that's always on my bed. So it's like I had a lot of fun with these series as a kid, and also for you guys to get to know me a little bit better when it comes to, my favorite things. I felt like it was right for me to make a video like this, just going over my thoughts and everything. So let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into this. So getting more into the shows themselves, one of the main reasons I connected with all of them so much is because of what each one brought to the table. They all had their own style, their own kind of humor, and their own way of telling stories, but at the same time, they all had something that made them easy to enjoy. Like when it comes to SpongeBob, I always just enjoyed seeing SpongeBob go on all these different kinds of adventures, whether things were going good or everything was going completely off the rails. He was always out there just having fun and doing what he does best, and that always made the show entertaining to watch. And then of course you got Danny Phantom, and for me, one of the coolest things about the show was seeing Danny Phantom hunt down ghosts of his friends. It had that nice mix of action, and the story made it feel different from, everything else, and it always felt like there was something bigger going on behind the scenes. And of course, when you look at Jimmy Neutron and the Fairly Odd Parents, those shows had their own thing going on too, because with Jimmy, it was always fun seeing him come up with all these different kinds of inventions, just to see them backfire, especially with Sheen and Carl being involved. And then with Timmy, it was always about all the wishes and seeing how they would play out, which always led to something crazy happening by the end of each episode. So when you put all of that together, it's pretty easy to see why I connected with these shows the way that I did, because it wasn't just about watching something to pass time. It actually felt like I was getting something out of each one in its own way, because they all had something that made me want to keep coming back. And I think a big part of that comes from just how different all of them were, which was, still fitting, because you had one show focused more on comedy, another one leans into action, another that focused on inventions and science. And then, of course, you had one built around wishes and using your imagination, and that variety just made everything feel fresh. At the same time, they all had that same kind of energy that made them easy to watch, and that's something I don't think you can really force. It just happens naturally, and for me, that's exactly what these shows did. They gave me something I could enjoy no matter what kind of mood I was in. So over time, it just became normal for me to go back to these shows again and again, and even now, looking back on it, I can still see exactly why I liked them as much as I did, because everything about them just worked for me at that point in my life. And honestly, one of the coolest things about all of this is the fact that these shows actually came together one time, and I wasn't expecting this because it was the Nicktoons Unite video game. Because when you really think about it, having all 4 of these characters in one place just interacting with each other is, something that sounds crazy on paper, but they actually did make it happen around that time. Like you got SpongeBob, Danny, Jimmy, and Timmy all teaming up, going through each other's worlds and just seeing how everything connects. And for me, that was just a really cool thing to experience, especially since they were already my favorite shows to begin with. I'm not saying that they made that game specifically for me or anything like that, but it definitely felt like something I could really appreciate on a different level, because it brought together everything that I already liked into one place. And that's not something that you see all the time. But at the end of the day, when I really look back at all of this, it just comes down to one simple thing. I had a lot of fun with these shows. That's really what it is, and I don't feel like I need to overcomplicate it or go super deep into it, because sometimes it really is just that simple. I just had a great time watching them, and that's why they stuck with me all this time. And that's one of the best things about your childhood is the fact that you could always go back and just reflect on everything when it came to my adventures with SpongeBob or Jimmy, Timmy, Danny. It was always one of those things where it's like I can always go back and relive those experiences again and again. And I'm glad that I grew up in that era of Nickelodeon where I was able to experience all these different kinds of shows. Sure, you got reruns of these shows, on air every so often, but at the same time, being there every week for a new episode, or if there was like some crazy special going on, it just felt different. And like I said, again, I'm just glad I was able to experience all of that growing up, and I was able to have a good childhood revolving around those said shows. But that's all I have to say here for this video. So I am very curious to hear, what Nickelodeon shows were you super close to as a kid? Let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear it. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to show your support and like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media, all the links to those socials are listed in the description, so be sure to follow me on all of those. Be sure to join my Discord server so we can talk about all the things that we love. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.